This node isn't super required. You could cut this if you wanted to, but it's effective HP and it's pretty nice. But this is mostly to prevent one-shots, so you take some of the damage, and then there's a 1 second delay, but you can get your leech to apply on a zero point 0.9 or zero point 0.8 second timer so that you take the damage, you heal all the way up before the second damage comes in. So it reduces the chance of one-shots by a lot. And you're coming here anyway, and like I said, you'd rather not path through force shield stuff, so increasing your defense for like 1 or 2 points is pretty nice. Okay, we don't need all of this stuff because it's like additive anymore. I kind of cut that. We don't need leech because we're going to get it at least from weapon, ideally. But you can also get it elsewhere. I think I have it on a ring right now, so we don't need the global life leech stuff. And 2%, like I've seen people use points here. I think that's kind of a waste. Going in here for Arms Master, getting some uh, just damage there, but here block efficiency and mostly going up here for the block chance. Some of these are just like tiny bits of additive damage, so that's not really important. We are going to be getting block chance. Right now, I think this is two-handed weapons only also. So this doesn't work currently, I think. Or maybe they fixed it, or they will fix it. I don't know. Whatever. Same with this one over here. Both poised barrier and high evasion are with two-handed weapons only. But virtuous stance and the ingenious stance. So this is a 10 or 15% chance to double your basic attack damage. That's equivalent to a 100% chance to do 15% more damage, or 10%. So the way to think of this is it's basically a 1.1 or a 1.15 times multiplier on your damage. So you lose 25% of your all resist, but when you have like 200 plus percent all resist already, you're reducing it from like 225 down to 200. So it's not that much of a decrease. So the downside on this is pretty minor. Like I said, you can maintain the stance that you want via the dodge roll stuff from Duck Shroud before you're using Aether Jump if you want to use a bow or something. We go in here, we're getting an extra projectile. This only affects Phantom Blades, but it does double the damage of Phantom Blades, but it's also just the crit damage. So the projectile crit damage affects Phantom Blades, Wailing Arrows, and Railgun, which are our main damage abilities, basically. So aside from ailments, this is still pretty nice, and it's just like 2 points. So you could cut these if you wanted to. You don't really need them early on. I'll skip that for now. Going into here, so we're doing this side pathing, even though it's spell damage versus attack damage. This is all additive, so it doesn't matter, but this way we save 1 point. We're going up here for Beacon for the Lost and then Hallowed Insight. So this we gain 25, or with the other node, 35% attack damage as sacred. So it works the same way as the Dusk Shroud rune when our force shield is below 50%. So what this means is we want to take a certain amount of damage, a lot, and very frequently to maintain this below 50% as high uptime as possible. It's adding it as sacred damage, so through this we could get weakness. If it's our second highest damage source, I'm not sure if it will be. And depending on, because all of our other abilities are either converting, I think. Yeah. So I think we won't actually get weakness from this. Unless we, but yeah. Anyway, so, but it adds it as sacred damage, so that we are dealing sacred damage despite me not having any sacred damage anywhere else on my gear. Which means, Dawn's Pious Striker can work, because we're dealing sacred damage. As long as our force shield is below 50%, we're dealing sacred damage on our attacks. And so this instantly kills enemies below 15%, and this node makes it work on bosses. So the math you have to do is 100 divided by 85, and so the actual like percentage damage increase is I think 17%. So basically this is a 1.17 times multiplier, and it's not additive with anything else because it's on the enemy's HP, and it's like completely separate based on the damage you're dealing or whatever. So yeah, this is a pretty huge node. It's like a strictly 17% multiplier, and this is also a 35% additive multiplier thing with all the other stuff like this, like residual energy. So this, there's also a catalyst, and you can roll this on rings, and it's attacks gain plus some percent damage from last spell cast. So we're using Aether Jump, and it deals stasis damage, I think by default. Well, you have to take this rune, and then because we can deal a second ailment, I guess this is dealing weakness. I think I have Aether damage on uh, one roll on my gear, so that's probably why. I don't know what the second ailment would be if you didn't have that, but anyway. So this works the same as Beacon for the Lost. So this adds whatever type is the main type of the ability. So this is Aether damage, because you can see the first like ailment